Whether an Olympic champion or a school level athlete, everyone who attempts an all-out sprint will follow the same general pattern. To demonstrate this, we will look at the velocity curve generated as an athlete performs a 100 metre sprint, where velocity or speed is shown on the y-axis and distance is shown on the x-axis. After reacting to the gun, all athletes will accelerate rapidly, eventually reaching their top speed, shown as the highest point on the curve, between around the 30 to 50 metre mark. Slower runners and most juniors will reach their top speed a little earlier. The athlete will hold their top speed for between 10 to 20 metres before their speed starts to gradually decline as they head to the finish of the race. The degree to which the athlete maintains good running form will affect this decrease in speed, but even in an Olympic final, runners will still lose velocity towards the end of a race. The first section of the speed curve describes the acceleration ability of the athlete. Technique in this phase will be characterised by low body position, vigorous arm drive, and longer ground contact periods. It is accepted that muscular strength and power have a strong influence on the initial acceleration of the athlete. This will often be a limitation for very young athletes who have low levels of strength and power. The middle of the speed curve describes the maximum velocity or top speed of the athlete and is characterised by a more upright sprint posture, with ground contact times becoming shorter as stride frequency increases. The final portion of the speed curve describes the speed endurance qualities, which will be extended in distance for the 200 metre sprint. The most decisive factor in successful performance in the 100 metres is the athlete's maximum velocity. To win an Olympic gold medal in the men's 100 metre event, an athlete would have to have a top speed of around 12 metres per second or 43 kilometres per hour. At the junior level, a runner who is able to run the 100 metres in around 11.3 will have a top speed of between 9.5 to 10 metres per second, whilst a 12.5 second 100 metre runner will have a top speed of 8.5 to 9 metres per second. While the 200 metre event requires a higher level of speed endurance than the 100 metres, top level performance is still not possible without possessing good top speed. Accordingly, a coach of junior sprinters should spend most time on developing maximum velocity capability rather than event-specific skills such as block starts or finishing techniques. The speed or velocity of a runner is determined by their stride length multiplied by their stride frequency. For example, an athlete with a stride length of 2.2 metres and a stride frequency of 4 strides per second will have a top speed of 8.8 metres per second. Finding the optimum balance between stride length and stride frequency is a key aspect of sprint coaching. However, sprinters come in all shapes and sizes, and their strengths and weaknesses will show in the stride patterns they exhibit. Stride length is the distance the body is projected through the air with each stride, and may vary from just under 2 metres to over 2.5 metres for senior athletes. Although stride length will be affected by the height of the athlete, strength and flexibility around the hip are particularly important. A flexible and strong hip complex will allow a sprinter to optimise stride length without adversely affecting stride frequency. Stride frequency will usually range from between 4 to 5 strides per second, depending on the individual. The time taken for each stride can be broken down into the support phase, when the foot is in contact with the ground, and the flight phase, when the body is moving through the air. Many common faults in sprint techniques relate to spending too much time in the support phase and hence reducing the stride frequency and ultimately speed. Ironically, when athletes strive for longer or more powerful strides, they usually end up reducing their speed due to the longer ground contact periods or longer flight times caused by excessive vertical oscillation. If a coach has a basic understanding of the relationship between stride length and frequency, then they are in a very good position to help young athletes maximise their running speed. Apart from improving reaction time, block technique, and dipping at the finish, all improvements in running performance must relate to changes in one or both of these factors. Arguably, the most difficult aspect of learning to sprint is developing an effective start position. For younger children who do not have the strength to hold or accelerate from a crouch or block position, it is recommended that they begin using a standing start. This is also a modified start technique for the second, third and fourth relay leg runners. At the on your mark command, the athlete walks up to the starting line and places the front or supporting leg behind it, with the rear foot approximately 2 foot lengths behind the line. Most students will naturally select this position. At the set command, without moving their foot position, the athlete bends down at the knee with their weight primarily over the front leg. They also move their arms so that the opposite arm to leg is forward. The bent knee position is key to a strong, powerful and balanced start. At the go command, the athlete pushes strongly against the ground, especially off the front leg. At the start of the movement, the athlete should split their arms to assist the body's projection forward. A good start is characterised by a powerful thrust of the hips forward, so look to see if the athlete's hips move towards the finish line. As the front foot leaves its position, the body angle should be around 50 degrees to the ground and in a straight postural alignment. For more developed athletes, relating to strength in particular, introducing the crouch start will give further support in the set position, enabling the athlete to get into the strongest running position with maximum efficiency. To find the on your marks position for the front foot, kneel on the ground. Place the fingertips of the hand just behind the starting line and measure 1 arm's length to the elbow. The tip of the elbow is where the toe of the front foot should be placed. Next, still kneeling on the track, place the knee of the back foot in line with the toes of the front foot. The space between the toes and the knee should be about 10 centimetres. Leaning forward, the athlete should place their arms shoulder-width apart with the fingertips behind the start line, each hand forming a bridge with the thumb and fingers. The arms should be straight but not rigid. The shoulders should be above the hands, producing a strong and balanced starting position. The head should be held in the normal postural position, not looking up or dropping towards the chest. The athlete then rocks forward to bring the shoulders just ahead of the hands, with the weight taken on the hands, the front foot and the resting knee. The shoulders should be positioned over the line. This should be practiced by the athletes a few times to ensure that they can find this position without too much difficulty. The head should be held in the normal position. In the set position, the hips are raised until they are slightly above shoulder height by about 5 to 10 centimetres. There is no other movement during the set position. The angle of the front leg should be approximately 90 degrees and the back leg approximately 120 to 130 degrees, which provides a fast movement off the back block and a strong movement off the front block. The shoulders should be over the hands and the start line. This will give a stable base from which to move. When viewed from behind, the feet should be vertical. That is, the heels neither pointed in nor out, as this will cause a crab-like running action at the start. The body, and in particular the spine, should be in a straight line and not twisted, with the leading knee pointing straight down the track. The overall impression of the athlete once they have reached their top speed should be of running over the ground. Top speed running is characterised by light, quiet feet and an upright running posture with the legs cycling around under the hips. There should be an optimal balance between stride frequency and stride length. This balance will be contingent on the range of motion around the hips. Key features of maximum speed sprinting include fluid movements, an upright posture, running over the ground, light, quiet feet, rigid or cocked ankles, a long leg to strike the ground, and a short leg in recovery, achieved by pulling the heel straight under the buttocks. Sprinters often try too hard in the latter stages of a sprint race. This causes overstriding and, more importantly, the loss of overall stride frequency, which causes a significant reduction in speed. Maintaining correct posture and fast, light feet with a smooth sprinting action will assist athletes in maintaining speed they developed in the start, acceleration, and maximum speed phases of the race. Many races are lost in the latter stages of the race because athletes lose focus. Most, if not all, lose speed because of a lack of concentration rather than a lack of fitness. A useful coaching cue is to sprint past the finish line to ensure that they do not lose speed in the last 10 to 20 metres. Another useful cue is to spot the target beyond the line, so that the athlete focuses beyond the finish line rather than on who is beside them in the race. If they must focus on themselves, they should focus on technical aspects of their performance, fast, fluid arm drive, or light, fast feet, for example. The simple fact is, once an athlete has achieved top speed at or before the halfway mark, they cannot go any faster. They should focus on light, fast movements to reduce the drop-off in speed.